Hello and welcome to a new episode of Greenberry's Garden. After I have planted more than 200 seeds in the last few months, I can now show you my so-called germination station and process which allows me to get my seeds to germinate and the seedlings to grow successfully. If you've watched my previous videos, you probably know that my favorite soil is cocoa soil, also known as coir. However, this has a huge disadvantage. It loves water and loves to keep it as long as possible, which might even rot the roots of your new plants. That's why I nowadays add a lot of sand to it, even a bit less than shown here, around a third by volume is sufficient. You need to get a good mixture of low nutrient cocoa soil and sand to allow for easy germination and extraction of the seedling when the time has come. Please note that I'm using horticultural sand only, which is pure quartz sand. You don't want to use a type of sand that contains chalk, as it would change the pH value of the soil, which might not be good for some plants. Low nutrient soil for germination and the first few days or weeks of the seedling is important so that it grows enough roots. If you feed it too many nutrients at the beginning, it would not have a reason to grow roots and probably die later when it really needs the roots, like when there is not enough water, when it's too dry, when it gets too hot. So now let's plant some morning glory seeds I ordered from AliExpress in China into our soil mix. So I'm just using them here for demonstration purposes. I already planted them and yeah, they actually grew to some interesting plants which have not yet shown any flowers. So I'll mark the spots here where I planted the seeds so I can find out where to water them later. Now let's add gibberellic acid, which is a seed and plant booster. If you haven't seen my video on that topic, I'll put a link to that video right now here and highly recommend to watch it before. Gibberellic acid improves germination. And not only that, it can also improve the growth of your plants. Use enough gibberellic acid so that you can be sure it has reached the seed and can be fully soaked in. Also, do not water the seed now for the first hours, because that would wash out the precious gibberellic acid and it would be useless here. Now, with such a greenhouse, you need to ensure some kind of ventilation by keeping a part of it open for ventilation. Also, with the sand in the soil mix, mold is a lot easier to prevent. Now I'm going to put the tiny greenhouse on a heat mat, which has a temperature of around 35 degrees Celsius, which is good for germination. The soil temperature will be around 5 degrees lower, so it should be fine for most seeds. As we are waiting now for the seeds to germinate, let us create the second kind of soil for the seedlings to grow in until they are large enough to be put inside a pot or just planting them outside. For this one I'm using a different mix, which is a peat-based potting mix, which contains around 80% of peat. Then I also add cocoa soil to lower the peat percentage a bit. Then I add clay granules to the mix so that it can retain water and the soil better and it doesn't dry out as fast. The last component is, once again, sand to improve soil drainage. So we have components that keep some moisture inside and the sand to prevent the soil itself from keeping the moisture for too long. Now it's time to fill it into a grow bag. This is a grow bag I also ordered from AliExpress that allows the roots to grow through it so that you can later just keep the plants inside the grow bag. When moving them to their final destination, you don't have to remove the bag. I put a link to the grow bags into the description. For the purpose of demonstration, I will now be using an Impatiens balsamina seedling. Gently remove the seedling from the soil using a small tool like a mini shovel. As you see, it's really easy because the roots cannot stick well to the sand. Now prepare the grow bag by making some space for the seedling and plant it in there. For phase 2, I am now keeping the plants under a special grow light, which I have also linked in the description. There are many different kinds of grow lights and most have some unnatural red and blue color, which might be sufficient for most plants, but not all. And it is quite annoying when you have it inside your house in a room you are using usually as well. With such a white light you do not have these problems because it looks just like normal sunlight. Therefore I decided to purchase this light and it was an immediate success. As you see, the plants grow really well. Also note the green leaves. Now when the time has come to plant them outside or in a larger pot, I'm just keeping them inside the grow bag. So now that you've seen how I get my seeds to germinate, which is quite hard with a lot of seeds I ordered from China, I hope this was interesting and useful for you. If you want to see more videos like this, or any other videos on seeds I ordered from China, I recommend to subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye!